Hello everyone. So I thought I would show you how to encapsulate your own vitamins and herbs today, and I'll try to explain things as I'm working, and I'm going to have to probably do this in clips and work some magic with the movie maker or whatever, because I know I'm not going to have enough time to get it all done in one little clip. So this is what I'm using here. This is a little capsule filling machine that makes 50 capsules at a time, and I use the size 0 capsules. I found this to be a lot easier to use. There are other little capsule filling machines that you can fill your capsules manually, but I don't like them. I actually have this one, which is what I bought the first time, and I hate it. It worked for a few times, but after a while the machine started jamming, and I was actually losing a lot of capsules because of the failure of this little machine. So I do not recommend this guy. I would probably throw it away, but I just keep it around just in case I might actually need it. And it only fills 24 capsules at a time, and this one fills 50 capsules at a time. So in the time that it takes me to do 50 of these capsules, it was taking me the same amount of time to do 24 because of how many failures I was getting, and because the capsules were getting stuck inside the machine and everything. So including, you know, all the mess ups and everything that this machine causes, it takes the same amount of time, and I can get 50 done instead of 24. So I definitely do not recommend this thing, and even though it's really popular, I think it's a piece of junk. And this one's going to cost a little bit more, but I think it's superior. And the difference is, with this one, you put the tops of the capsules into a certain part of the machine, and so the premise is that you can put all the tops on the bottoms all at the same time and not have to manually do it one at a time. But because of the failures that this machine produces, it doesn't actually work out that way, and you lose a lot of capsules, so it's not worth your time or money. Now this thing comes with a tamper to tamp down the ingredients in the capsules, but I don't like using that, so I set that aside. And then there's two parts to it. That's the top part, and that's the bottom part. Actually, there's four if you count the little pegs that it stands on. And so when you first get it, it'll be sitting down in the tray like that, and what you have to do is to raise it up. It sits on these little pegs, and so you have to raise it up and turn this. It comes off just like that, but it sits on that post when you're ready to use it, and so you turn it inwards, and what that does is it just elevates that top thing there. So now you can see there's a gap there, and so this is how you start out when you're filling your capsules. And I already have 50 capsules counted out here, and I use these little crafts to make it easier. And this does come with a card for scraping the contents into the capsules. And so you just take your empty capsules. I use vegetarian capsules, size 0, that I got from Mountain Rose Herbs, but you can get them from Frontier Herbs as well, and like in your health food store you can find them. And these are vegetarian, and I store them in a glass jar, a big screw top glass jar, just like that. And I put this bag of desiccant in the bottom because they can get, you know, if it's really humid, you know, they can get mushy and stuff, and so you want to keep them perfectly dry and keep your cap on tight. Okay. So you just take the capsules, and I have a second carafe here because I put the top into the second carafe while I'm working. And so you just take the bottom part, I'm probably going to fumble a little bit, sorry. And so you just take the bottom part and stick it down into the holes. And so you'll have 50 of them to fill. And it's kind of hard to work with these when it's hot outside, when it's hot and humid, because your hands are sticky and sweaty, and you want to make sure I just washed my hands. You want to make sure your hands are very well washed, because you're working with your vitamins and stuff, and you want it to be a sterile environment. But still, if it's hot outside, your hands may stick to these capsules. So just make sure your hands are clean and dry, and work as fast as you can so that your hands are not in contact with the empty capsules for very long. And so I guess I can go over the reasons why I encapsulate my own things. And part of the reason is, or one reason, is because some of the vitamins that I buy, like my vitamin C, the tapioca-derived vitamin C, it comes in capsules, or it comes in powder. And the powder doesn't have any fillers, like magnesium stearate, or silicone dioxide, or titanium dioxide. It doesn't have any fillers. It's just the vitamin C powder. And my other vitamin C is the same way. It comes in both capsules and in a powder. And while they don't have any fillers in their capsules, the bottle of 90 capsules is way more expensive than buying the powder. So that's another reason, is because usually, even if they do offer the vitamin or whatever in an encapsulated form with no fillers, it's usually so expensive that I can't afford it, because I take a lot of vitamins. I'm doing cancer treatment, my own self-cancer treatments, and so I encapsulate all my own vitamin C, and today I am encapsulating my greens powders and my chlorella and spirulina, because I don't like the taste of it, and so I encapsulate them because I don't like the taste. And that's the same way with vitamin C powder. I don't like the taste of it, so rather than mixing it up in a glass of water, I just encapsulate it myself. And I have one capsule left over, so I either miscounted or I missed one, and it looks like I've got them all in there, so I guess I just miscounted. Okay, and so after you have them in there, they should be flush with the top of the platform there. And what I'm doing right now is Perfect Food Berry, and this is a greens powder. And like I said, I'm not that fond of greens, and so I encapsulate it, so all I have to do is swallow pills, which, you know, there's a trade-off. It's been hard for me to swallow pills because of some issues I've had, but I still do my best. And so you just take your powder, whatever you're doing, and you dump it onto the top, and it takes quite a bit to do 50 of these capsules. And then you take the card and start to slowly go back and forth. And sometimes your powder will have clumps in it, so you'll want to break up the clumps. And like I said, this does come with a tamping tool, but I've found an easier way to tamp things down, because the tamping tool is actually a little bit messy, and I don't find that it's necessary, because sometimes it actually pushes too much of the powder out, and it actually makes a mess. And so after I scooch it back and forth, and the level of the powder is even with the top of the platform, then I'll take just one of my bottles, and I just go along the sides, tapping it, and that actually sinks the powder down into the capsules even further. So you can use that tamping platform, of course, but you don't have to. So just keep that in mind. And I do that once, and again twice. And sometimes I do both sides. of course I only have 1 minute left on this particular clip. I can only do 11 minutes at a time, so I'm going to have to turn off the camera and download this part and then show you the rest of it when I get that downloaded. But you just go back and forth until you get it all filled up, and then you take the excess and I scooch it right onto the card and dump it back into the bottle. So there you have it. Those are all filled, and now I just have to put the tops on, but I'll have to show you that in the next little clip, so bear with me. Okay, so I just washed and dried my hands because I had to download that first part. My hands are nice and dry. So sometimes you'll have just a little bit left over even after you've scooped it off, and what I do is just temporarily push it to the side so that it's not in the way. And then to put the tops on, you'll need to take the side bars here and turn it, and what I do is I hold on to the things until I get them both down, because I don't want to release one end without releasing the other. So I turn it so that it's out of the way, and then I turn that one so that it's out of the way, and then just carefully let that fall. And so you can see all the capsules are there and they're filled, and that gives you access to them so that you can put the tops on. Now this part is pretty long and laborious. This is the part that takes the longest. And what I found, I used to put the top on and then close it and then set it to the side, but I found over the months that I've been doing this that it's just as easy to put the tops on all of them all at the same time and then go back through and pick them all up and push the capsule together and put it in the bottle. And like I said, the 3 main reasons that I do this is because of the taste of the powder. I don't like the taste, and the cost of the already encapsulated products, plus the already encapsulated products many times contain additives that I don't want to have. And when you buy the same thing in powder form where you are encapsulating it, then you don't have to deal with that because they don't put that stuff in there usually. And so I found it's easiest to take the top of the capsule and go in at kind of an angle and go down, and that's just because oftentimes my hands are kind of shaky, and whether you go at it from an angle or whether you go straight down, which you can do that if your hands are steady enough. And it's really, really, really hot outside, so my hands, even though they're clean and dry, they're sticking to the capsules. It helps if you have a towel around that you can dry your hands on if they're a little sweaty or if it's extremely hot and humid or whatever. And you can tell they're just sticking to me terribly. I mean, every time I touch one, it sticks to me because it's about 100 degrees outside right now in the shade. And even in the house where I have the air on a little bit, it's still pretty hot. And so I'm going to turn the camera off now and finish putting the tops on because this part takes a few minutes. Okay? Alright, well I don't even know if I finished the thought that I started there, but like I was saying, whether you put it on straight, whether you put the cap on straight down or whether you go at it from an angle, you're going to have some loss of powder, and I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but all around each capsule there's just a little bit of powder because they're kind of over full right now. And you know, when all the caps are on, they're just right, but at this moment they're a little bit full, and so when you put the cap on, the top on, you're going to lose just a little bit. Okay, so now all of these tops are on, and some of them came out because my hands were sticking to them. But then what I do is I always save old glass amber bottles that I take my supplements in. This was a CoQ10 bottle, but I like the amber and I like the glass, and so I make sure that when I'm done with a bottle of supplements, I save the bottle because you never know what you're going to need it for. And in this case, I use it to store my encapsulated products. So you just take the capsule and push it, and some of the capsules that you find, there will be a distinct clicking sound when you push the two halves together. And so I'm just pushing down like that, and I kind of wipe off the capsule with my other hand as I'm doing that, and then I just throw it in the bottle here, my empty capsule bottle. I actually like the Mountain Rose Herbs capsules better than the Frontier capsules. These that I'm working with right now are from Frontier, and they don't have that little locking mechanism that you can see. I mean, on the Mountain Rose Herbs, you can actually see a little indentation, and when you push the capsule together, you can hear it click together quite distinctly. And these that I got from Frontier do not have that feature, and so I don't really like these, and I don't think I'll buy them again. I just happen to have that Mountain Rose Herbs capsule bag. I just saved it for some reason, I don't know why, but this last batch of capsules that I bought came from Frontier. But I'm going to be ordering from Mountain Rose Herbs again because I don't like the Frontier capsules. And so you just go through and push the two halves together. Like I said, I think this is faster when you put all the caps on and then go through and take the capsule out of the machine. I think it goes faster rather than putting the cap on, taking it out, pushing it together, and putting it in the thing. And I mean, it may just only be a second or whatever faster to do it this way, or 30 seconds faster when you're talking about 50 pills, maybe. But anytime you can cut off of this is good, because this whole process to do 50 capsules takes about 15 minutes if you have shaky hands like me. So just be prepared to spend about 15 minutes per batch of 50 capsules, so that way you won't be disappointed. And I always keep a little packet of desiccant in all my pills. Oops, I forgot one. He's sitting out here in the thing. And so then what I do when I'm done, I actually do a couple different batches normally, I'm also out of my chlorella and spirulina right now, so I will go ahead and encapsulate these before I wash my little machine. And then when I do my vitamin C, I actually do the synthetic tapioca vitamin C first, and then I do the all-natural vitamin C. This vitamin C comes from Whole Foods and everything, and this is, while it does come from the cassava plant, it is a synthetic vitamin C. It's an isolate, and this is a whole food vitamin C. And so I do this one first, which clumps up really bad, and then I'll do this one. But today I'll just do the spirulina and chlorella. But to clean this thing, you just take the top off, and the reason I'm doing it on this flexible cutting board is because that makes it easier to collect the extra powder that spills. And so I just turn it over and dump it as good as I can. And there's actually not very much extra right now, but sometimes, you can get pretty messy, and so I just do it on this flexible cutting board so that I can take it and flex it. And you can't see what I'm doing, but I've just got the cutting board right in there. and I'm tapping on that to get the powder down. And then I'll just lay it back down and put my machine back down. And if you're not doing any more, then now is the time that you would clean it. And really all you need to do is run it under nice hot water. You can clean it with soap and water if it gets pretty dirty, or if you're only encapsulating vitamin C with your machine and it's not very dirty at all, you can wipe it with a paper towel and just not even run it under water, because you're only doing one type of vitamin, like vitamin C or whatever. But for the greens, it actually gets pretty messy and it sticks down in there, so I'll take the whole thing and I'll take it apart and I'll rinse it really, really well, and also that part as well, of course. And then I let it dry and put it back in the box to store it until I need to make more capsules. And it just sits down right on those posts, like I said. And I'm not going to clean this yet because I have to do my chlorella and spirulina. And so I'll just repeat that process. I'll count out 50 of my capsules and put them in my little carafe. And I'll take them apart, fill the bottoms, put the tops in there, and put the ingredients in and encapsulate them. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Take it easy. Bye.